Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I will bring I will begin introductions while you all join. I am Aurora. I am the founder of A.U.R.A Hypnosis Healing, as well as Raw Reiki Angelic Healing. It is an honor to be here with you. You can find me in risingphoenixaurora.com, where you can find my services as well as a beautiful directory for both the A.U.R.A Hypnosis and Raw directory that you can find a practitioner near you. If you're new to our channel, we are here every Friday, 1 p.m. Central Time. Please join us. If you could hit the bell button and subscribe as well at the top right. Beautiful to see you here. Thank you. Now, we're going to get this going. As we're talking about heart discernment. One more thing before we get this going: we do have retreats all over the world, internationally right now. If you'd like to join us, our next retreats is in Sedona, and in the Americas, Sedona and Manchester. So those will be our last ones in USA. If you're looking to be A.U.R.A certified and Raw Reiki certified, we teach basically all this, mess about, the coronavirus. We teach how to basically transmute and heal negative AI, which that's what it is. It's a negative AI. So if you want to learn how to self-heal yourself and how to self-heal your family, and that is the way to go. So hope to see you all there in Sedona and Manchester this year. If not, you can catch us internationally. Check out my website, risingphoenixaurora.com, for those links. Thank you. Wonderful. I am honored to be here. As you all know, what we teach and what we expand through the A.U.R.A hypnosis, as well as the channelings, the benevolent beings that I channel from the Raw Collective, that once again, if you're new to our channel, basically they are the combination of benevolent beings throughout the universe. And this is who I channel, working with beautiful force fields of love light, ensuring that we're channeling the most highest vibrational, heart discerning messages. And this is what we're talking about today: heart discernment, how to work from a heart space. And that big question that the Law of One, the Raw Collective, talk about is what does it mean to be above 51 percentile? There is so many different questions out there as far as what that means, and ensuring that we get the clearest, least amount of infringement upon these answers. So this is what we're looking to provide for you today through these teachings of working with your heart. We have Minnie and Lily in chat. If you have a question and you weren't able to add it to our YouTube, to our Facebook page, or our Rising Phoenix Angels Facebook spiritual group, you can go ahead and add it now to the questions, to your comments, but write question right before, and then they're going to be giving them to me. We'll be interacting live here with any of the questions that you have. Okay. Thank you once more. I love you all. All right. Ooh, you all feel the energy changing? It is shifting. And I think this is why it's so important for us to talk about heart discernment and how to be led and guided through one's heart, our compass of divine blessings and divine guidance throughout our organic, positive timelines that we're trying to maintain. Right? Yes. And this is what we teach: heart discernment. Thank you. Before I get started, I wanted to give my love to my colleague, Miriam Hasna. If you're not aware who she is, I highly recommend her for you to check out her New Earth Mystery School. And you can find that just by typing in that, but we will add the links after we're done with this video. The reason why I recommend her school is because she's beautiful, very much in her heart. And she is working with helping people, self-heal as well. And I was also part of I was guest teacher of her mystery school, her New Earth Mystery School, last month. So if you all want to be watch that class, Callie is saying, yeah, Miriam, she's beautiful. There's some of you who are watching now who found me through her form. So yes, go under her website. Again, links will be there. And purchase that class. I think it's only $25, good amount, very good price. And it's Heart Discernment #2. And you can watch Miriam and I working, talking together, and we're sharing heart discernment there. Okay, so check that out. You'll love her. And she works with Mother Earth and the healing energies of the earth and herbs and flowers, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And just working with myself with oils and these natural, it's like, goodness, they get me going. That the smell is a very important sensory. And even that you could understand, like, let's talk about that really quick since we are talking about her, is looking at, say, for example, like I have this beautiful oils here that has rose petals within it. So when I put it on, it basically helps me go into my heart. I also have another one that I've been using. It has emerald crystals inside of it. And it has specific herbs and flowers that contain basically helping your lucid dreaming. So she'd be the one that you'd go for that information. Yeah, so check her out. And it really does amplify your dream time, like lucid, and it helps you go in your heart just by smelling. If you think about something, when you smell it, and how it brings you back to a certain part in your life, a certain moment that is beautiful. How breathing outside, you smell the earth, and all of a sudden you're in this beautiful theta brainwave that we work with in hypnosis. So it brings you back to your heart. So it's really important, these different senses that we're supposed to be using. Okay, so yeah, very good. Okay, so that's a big one, right? Smelling, senses, all your senses overall with heart discernment. People think that, for example, the number one thing is that I want to go with here is that you will hear a lot of people talk about, yeah, I couldn't, perhaps I couldn't listen to this video. I couldn't align with this because my discernment told me not to. So the question is, you all know what we teach is which discernment? Are you talking about the mind discernment, perhaps entities, the energies that you have within you that are posing as your discernment? 111, I'll send love to the earth, 13th hour. Transmuting these negative energies. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Michael, Letitia, Kay. Thank you. I see you all there. Tracy, beautiful faces. Thank you for your support. Love you all. Okay, so yes. So which discernment are we talking about? There's many different forms of discernment that you can, try to basically listen to, and then you realize, I don't think that discernment was quite right on, right? After you've gone through the process and perhaps, led yourself in a negative path that taught you much and helped you grow. But then you start thinking about, that discernment that I felt perhaps wasn't, the highest in my time and space. And this is a year. So we went through, right, 2000, we talked about it, 2018, 2019 years that were very catalyzing. 17, oh goodness, the worst, the highest catalyzing in a manner of awakening us and, teaching us a lot of lessons about heart discernment, because we've learned through the different higher self perspectives at this point, about 260 hypnosis sessions that I've been able to share with you all, but maybe total of 500, people that have come to me and told me stories of different, circumstances where they learned how to heart discern and realized that perhaps the mind discernment wasn't quite the best manner to go, though, again, honoring that lesson needed to occur. And then basically you are whom you are because of those lessons. So this is a year where we've gone through those lessons, and now we basically are supposed to be finding our soul tribe, the tribe that's supposed to be working within a high vibration of heart discernment. Along the way, you of course will come up like normal, like in the past, you will come up with people who will try to pose as they're being in their heart discernment, but they are not. So being very cautious and listening Yeah, Lotus Bliss Love says yes. Miriam, she's wonderful and teaches the difference between empowering versus enabling, cuts straight through the BS. She sure does. She's phenomenal. And I'm honored to be able to announce that, to be able to finally announce that to you all. I was waiting for the right time for that. Okay. Now let's see. So yes, how do you, so being very cautious. For example, I will give you an example. Sometimes when something, say you're about to create something, and then all of a sudden, energies are coming to you, and you're trying to figure out which route to go with this that you're trying to create, whether it's a, change of job, a collaboration with someone, whether it's just making, maybe you finally decided you're going to make a YouTube channel this year, you're finally going to branch out, because this is a year. 2020 is a year to work in your heart discernment, to allow your heart to guide you, because it will amplify you if you enter that frequency. I just put out a quote that was so beautiful that I wanted to share with you all, because everything that you want to be doing this year is you want to be making decisions upon this. Okay, so this quote says, so I channeled this, and then if you want to be part of that, you can find that all my quotes actually under my blog, under my risingphoenixaurora.com website. And if they're inspirational, they lift you. You can feel the vibration that they're created from. They're created from such a beautiful, pure intent for self-empowerment and sovereignty that you can feel it with every word and lettering that you read through those quotes. You can feel the shifting within you and how you're stepping more and more into your power. Okay. So let's look at that. The one that was created yesterday. When deciding our divine path, we must remember to conclude all thought form from within a frequency of highest, clearest heart, not of pain, worry, fear, anger, for then our conclusion will match these frequencies. Again, when deciding our divine path, we must remember to conclude all thought form from within a frequency of highest, clearest heart, not of pain, worry, fear, anger, for then our conclusion will match these frequencies. So what does that mean? What does that mean, right? This is big for us this year with allowing heart discernment to guide us. Basically, through all our lives, we've gone through life and we've made impulse decisions, right? Before actually sitting with them and letting them, come into us and feeling them. How do they feel? How, what kind of path will this lead me into? What will fruition out of this? Okay. Now, how many times have we made these decisions of decisions of fear or worry or frustration, imbalance, impatience, right? We all of a sudden we feel like this urge of energy and we're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make this decision, and then you just do it. And then you realize after, we all do this. We've all done this at some point in time, right? We realize after, we're like, that probably wasn't, say, the highest frequency that I made that decision in. Therefore, what came out of this decision, this conclusion, this path, it matched that frequency because it was made from a non-high frequency of clear heart. It was made from a lower vibration, like, what we talked about, frustration, anger, worry, fear. Now the outcome is going to match that frequency. Life is all about matching that frequency. You want to manifest and create beauties out of your life and what you want to create specifically on this year, which is, again, huge. I cannot express enough for you. It is big for everyone equally. Now the question is, will you believe it? That's the question your higher self and your guides have. Do you believe it? Once in working with yourself, can you answer that yes as I ask it? Can you answer that with a full yes, 100% yes? where there is not an ounce of doubt, then you want to look into, we talk about alchemy and energy. If you feel like something's holding you back, what is that that's holding you back from saying yes? Is it the self-love that keeps you from the heart discernment, the self-worth, the realizing that you are worthy for all that is around you, so it is that you believe it? All these things that block you, childhood trauma, past life trauma, we see a lot of that in the aura hypnosis, right? The client's going to a past life trauma that's bleeding into this life, and it's maneuvering all their ways. You know, what blockages do you have in your heart? Do you have a entity in there? Do you have an implant? Do you have a portal, a negative portal where there's entities coming in through them? What is going on? Okay, this video is all about the heart and how to maneuver and weave our ways through it, like the beautiful weaving that we can create through all forms of creation for ourselves and for others. Because ultimately, we cannot be a healer, you know, until we heal ourselves. We are here, I am here to help heal the healers. That's what we are here for. If you have found your way to our channel, this is why we're here. Let's step forth into our power, our sovereignty, and let's be that difference. Let's not be those followers that are perhaps discerning with their mind versus not connecting with their heart. And if you want to know in ways on how to get past your mind, Kuan Yin, recent channeling about 2 weeks ago, very beautiful channeling, she talks about that. Through Buddhism and overall, not just looking at a religion, she talks about how to maneuver and weave your ways through the path and the blockages of the mind. So watch that channeling. Okay, because right now we're going to focus on heart discernment. And we have all these beautiful videos that we've created for you all that are freely there, that they're there to help you as a collective to lift. Okay. Very good. Now, let's see what else we want to talk about there. So I'm about to go look at your questions. But before that, I want to talk about, so with that, we talked about working with self, right? So this goes into that title that you saw. So how to be a 51 percentile, above 51 percentile in service to others, right? Or that's what it is. So yet still being, so what is a being above 51 percentile? You've heard this through the A.U.R.A collective, the Love One, when you read the books. You've heard this perhaps through other lightworker leaders that have talked about being above this percentage. Now, what does it mean though? It seems like a puzzle piece, like what is that? Like you're at the bridge of the troll bridge and you need to surpass that. What is that word? That riddle? There we go. Right? How do you surpass that riddle? Yeah. So basically, this is what it is. So we're looking at 100%, which is the easiest formation that you can look upon that. And so 49% would be in service to self. 51 percentile would be in service to others. Now, what does that look like? 41%, you're self-loving, you're taking care of yourself, you're embracing yourself, you're honoring every bit of communication from your higher self. You're learning how to not self-doubt, understanding that that is programming, that is, a disconnection, thinking that you are disconnected to your higher self. Also looking at ways that we are infinite through our imagination, our third eye, which we teach that through the Priestess program. So if you want to be part of that, actually April 1st begins open enrollment under Patreon. So check that out then. So there we teach you how to work with your third eye and your imagination and your 12 DNA strands. Now, I am a firm believer though that you can as well teach this within yourself. And though if you're looking for a structure and alchemy, that will teach you through alchemy, symbols, and sound. That would be the 6-month course that I would highly suggest for you, and you can watch testimonials for that. So what we can share with you, though, is that the third eye is infinite. It is infinite. It is a bridge to everything, and we talked about this through past channelings, okay? And your imagination is. So beliefs, all senses stand forth from your third eye. It's not just sight, okay? There's viewing, sensing, hearing, knowing. All your clairs are found within the third eye and the pineal gland of your eye of Horus here. Okay, now when you start working, because this is your goal here, you're going to start working with your heart, right? So how do I get past my mind that is connected to all these senses? How do I connect all these senses to my heart? How do I allow for my senses to start believing in them and allowing for them to be my strength and guide? Okay, so working with that within yourself, within meditation, as we talk about, working within theta brainwave through hypnosis, working, through Reiki healing as well, because that is a formation where you channel in divine love light, infinite love light from source energy, and then you're emanating that out to yourself through you and to others. Okay. And then bridging, as Kuan Yin talked about, bridging the wisdom here in the mind and allowing for it to connect to the heart, where you're bridging them, intertwining them like a beautiful braided bridge that is honoring all senses, emotions, feelings of self. Okay. And then with self is that sometimes we think that we are getting, say, the highest, most information, but then we have to be very filtering upon this information, because sometimes we could get information through the mind and not from a frequency, like we said, a beginning frequency of pure intent, of no anger, fear, a high frequency of being standing strongly as the empowered being that you are, clear channel that you are. And remember, matching that frequency. So if you're not in that frequency, you're allowed down here, you're absolutely going to get that frequency. You're going to get infringement. You're going to get, messages that are going to start to lead you out from your path into an AI matrix formation, where you're no longer, say, sovereignty in control organically of your timeline. Though, like we always teach, you can always come back, because when you meet the heart again, you remind the heart, you come out of the ego and the mind. Then you enter once more into the heart. And when you enter into the heart, then everything starts working again with the wisdom, connection of the wisdom of the mind and the knowing clara, cognizance of the heart. Okay. I hope you guys are loving this class, this live. Okay, let's see. Let's see if there's anything else they want to add on that, and then we're going to open up for questions. Yeah, so let's open up for questions now. Drink some water. Okay, let's see. Question number 1. Being giving souls, does a moment of service to self drop us below the 50% threshold? Or do we just keep working to be kind people to at all? Now, we're not, perfect, though I view everyone as beautifully imperfectly perfect, such beautiful creations, because everyone is so imperfectly unique. But yes, so perfect. Yes, so moments of service to self. Okay, so moments of service to self. we teach basically to take care of yourself, to meditate, to heal yourself, to cleanse yourself. You are this beautiful temple that every day you're working. You should be talking to yourself, talking to yourself, and getting these answers from within. How do I feel today? Do I have an ache here? Do I have, a pain here in my leg? What is this trying to communicate to me? Do I have, does my mouth feel weird? Am I speaking from a heart when I speak? Like perhaps, there's ways that the body tries to communicate to you. And our beautiful Dolores Cannon, through her QSHC sessions, which I am certified through that, though I practice aura hypnosis, she taught us that how the body basically talks, how the body will tell you different ways. And it is all connected to the heart, because where do you find the soul? You find the soul when you look upon someone's eyes, you can find their soul. And if you follow that bridge, my beautiful colleague Todd Deviney taught me this. If you follow that bridge through the person's eyes and you connect to their eyes, you can find the soul deep within that tunnel. And when you find that soul in those eyes, then you find that soul in the heart. For we all are heart. We all are made of love. And this universe, remember, is made of love. Okay? So when you are understanding that, feeling the heart, then life gets so much clearer. And we've taught, how do you get to your heart, right? We teach that. Basically, you have to first start off with surrounding yourself with your own force fields of love light. Watch Laura's Laura and I interview. We talked about the scanning that goes on when you don't shield with your own infinite love light. Okay, so make sure that you watch that. But yes, now you're feeling this love light around you. This filter becomes extremely high. You want to be in your heart. This is your number one key to finding your heart discernment. Surrounding yourself with love light, because it filters out the lies, the deceit, the BS, the infringing that's trying to maneuver you back into a path of negative polarization, being in charge. Now, again, we talk about, though, honoring both negative polarization and positive, because it's needed within this beautiful universe of polarity. Okay. So I think I might have got off track. So going back to this, service to self. You have to take care of yourself. Remember that 49% is you, that 51%, basically just by that 1%, you are in service to others. Some of you might be even more grander than that if you're really operating in a service to others. But remember, don't operate so much in service to others, because at that point, you are kind of putting yourself back. You're stopping yourself. You're not honoring yourself at that point. If you're getting like at a very high percent where you're putting yourself, say, 70% in service to others, and you're only that 30%, then that is an imbalance. Remember, too much of something is an imbalance. So then you always want to bring it back to that, that's a beautiful balance, that 51 percentile to 49 service to self. Okay, and then they also talk about, the A.U.R.A talks about, with this 51%, they talk about service to self and service to others. So basically, let's talk about this, since we are talking about heart discernment, and this connects. So service to self is a form where you're looking to gain for yourself. Now, there are organic ways that you're looking to gain for self that are very natural, like providing for self, providing food, water, housing for your family, your loved ones. That is a obvious service to self. Then there is formations that you will create throughout, this mission that we agreed upon, right? Remember the mission. We talk about that. Remember the mission. Remember the mission. Remember the mission. It is a hard one. We are operating in the densest density in creation. It is absolutely the hardest. So remembering that since it is the most difficult, that there will be many challenges to it, through it, and you will be tested in many different ways. Are you able to, you will be given something like, are you able to be service in to self, where you're abundantly perhaps manifesting for self, but yet you're still being service to others in this higher percentage of 51%. So as you all learn and as you all grow, you will start catalyzing and being more outspoken. We're really working with the throat as well, throat chakras, bringing them forth into creation right now. We are all learning this year that we will speak more of our truth in connection with our heart and our wisdom, right? Those three are very important. Though they're all equally important. Okay, let's see, what else? Wow, so much shared already. Beautiful. And I ask you, please share this video, because this information that we're combining, so much heart discernment information, it could really help these, whoever listens to it, in helping them catalyze and activating their heart. Because not only are you all are here in a beautiful frequency of heart, and so am I, and they're channeling this information. The raw is just lively, telepathically talking, and it will help them remember these, remember the mission, remember not to be distracted. Beth, you walked in right when I said remember the mission. You came in. Okay. Now, let's see. So yes, don't worry if you say have a lapse of, this question was, lapse of being too much in service to self, maybe one day. That is okay. You have to pamper yourself. You have to make a fire for yourself, take a bubble bath with salts, and take care of yourself like a beautiful creation, the beautiful creation that you are. That is okay. Okay. Now, working with that is, let's see. So when you're working in self, don't think, oh, because I worked on myself so much in this time, now, now I've dropped that percentage. No, it's okay. Not being too paranoid about it, worried about it. Again, remember, operating in that frequency where we're not in worry, in fear, or any of that controlling us through every thought form that we are completing an intention, right? Okay. So though, if this person is talking about in this question of service to self, like, what if you perhaps felt like you acted a little bit selfish one day? So when you are, think that you've acted selfish in a form, or have harmed or offended someone, or, what are other ways that service to self? Perhaps you spoke out of not that frequency of high, clear heart. And now you're worried, like, oh goodness, like this question is asking. Well, it's okay. It is. It is what it is. It is a lesson. Now, what do you choose to do with that lesson? Do you choose to stay stuck and stubborn in that, say, decision, that service to self moment? Or will you choose to amend it in whatever form that you can think of, owning up to that service to self where perhaps you harm someone, not meaning to, or, I'm just trying to figure out how to answer this question. So again, the question is, does this moment of service to self drop us below 50 percentile to threshold? So perhaps for that day, it will drop a little above, under that, but, or do we just keep working on being kind to people? So then so the next day you wake up and you're like, okay, yesterday this is in the mannerism that I acted, and I made decisions upon this, lower frequencies that weren't from my heart. Now today I shall do the opposite, countering with a beautiful reflection of that. So yes, I did that, but today, you know what? Whatever, let's let this go. Let's move on. It's like Elsa says, let it go. Let's move on. Let's release it. And now let's own up to that. And how is it perhaps that, for example, if I offended someone, how is it that I will I basically communicate to them? Will I will I, ask for healing of it? Will I work with self to figure out what brought me to that offending service to self communication? So there's many different ways that you can work on it. And basically it will bring you back. Absolutely. It will bring you back to that above 50 percentile in service to others. Now 51%. So every day is a new book, just like we teach you. Every day is a new book of creation. Lilith has talked about that. So what are you going to do with that book? Are you going to stay in that repeated chapter that can't seem to basically, transform and grow from it? Or are you going to choose to open up a new page and start writing a new title to your new chapter? And what will this title be? Okay. Definitely not being in lower vibrations like guilt, pain, fear, because then that repeats the cycles. Okay. Yes. Beautiful. Good. So I think we're good. We answered that question good. Okay. So number 2 question here is, how does self-love fit into being above the 51 percentile? Yeah. So how does that? So that is a beautiful balance. So you have to absolutely love yourself 100%. 100%. You have to, we teach, you want to love your darkness, your shadow, your ego, because your ego is your inner child, that nurturing infant that just needs a hug, that inner child from this life in the maybe childhood trauma and so on. So how do you embrace that? Okay. How do you lift that inner child? How do you assist that? So looking all these beautiful ways where you are self-loving, okay? And all answers, as we talk about, all answers are found within. So yes, we are here as spiritual leaders to point you in the right direction, help you, point you to your heart. We can do that in so many different ways, through Akashic readings, through hypnosis. However, when we point you in that direction, it's the goal. A spiritual leader that's working in a service to others formation will empower you and teach you that you are here to self-heal yourself. We will give you the guidance, lead you through that path to find that organic timeline of yourself, that predestined 5D dimension or star seed. As we talked about before, not everyone will go to 5D. Some of them will go back to your 9th dimension, or your back to your higher self, could be even in the 13th dimension after this ascension. So being that organic timeline in every which way that you can think of, still honoring the lessons along the way that might come up negatively, that will teach you lessons that will help you grow. Because remember, that's how we came. Some of these negative polarized lessons will help us grow. But then also being very cautious in boundaries, right? Boundaries are huge around us, because like we talked about, if you all watched that Aura regression recently, where they talked about how soon can we find relief of the coronavirus. And then they talked about within about a month's time, which is, I am in alignment with that. That's when we'll start seeing the real change, and we all need to collectively focus upon that, imagine it. Just like that Aura regression has taught us, and also all the other side, all the, so how do, there'll be times in this timeline that will come up like that as a collective or as individuals. Will we be part of that collective that will not work in their heart discernment and will feed the fear and worry and will hide in our homes freaking out? And all those funny emojis are just cracking me up. I think it was Daisy, you shared one where there was, I think it was 3 weeks or 6 weeks into the you know, the quarantine into our homes, and then it's like the person holding their cat, and then they painted their face black and white to this matching their cat. It was like, we're gonna get bored out of our minds, but with that, remember, we will find our inner knowing. So take this beautiful time to reflect. And I'm not just talking about now in the coronavirus. I'm talking about overall life. You want to be like this. Any moment that you can find resolutions, answers within your heart, do so and allow for it to flourish. Stop making excuses for yourself. You are your worst enemy. You are your worst blockage. Thinking, not believing, thinking that you can't do it, saying, I don't have time. I work too much. Well, you have 5 minutes to meditate. That you do. Absolutely. You have 5 minutes to wake up early. You say, I don't have time to shield with love light, to surround myself with love light, force fields. I don't have time for that. Well, then guess what? Oh, wake up 10 more minutes earlier and you'll have time. That's Dolores Cannon. Yeah. And you will have time. All these beautiful things that help our mind, body, and soul connect, like yoga, huge, Tai Chi, beautiful. Waking up 15 minutes early to do these things. And because it's about what intention, again, you want to create for your heart discernment. These things are big with your heart discernment because they start connecting the body with the mind. Yoga does, Tai Chi does, working with the force fields around you, maneuvering them around. Even if you just right now, if you go like this right now with me, you will feel goosebumps, energy going through you. You will feel it, right? Whew. And look at how you're building up just with a simple exercise. And guess what? Then you're focusing here on the heart with Gasho meditation here, in your placing your heart frequency, heart palms. Yeshua taught us that. The heart chakras here. You're placing it here in front of your heart. And all of a sudden you feel more balance and more in your heart. And things that were clouding you and were leading you all of a sudden have become so clear. And when you look back upon them, you're like, oh, that was so silly of me to cause such chaos upon my life. Not realizing that I could just so lovingly and centered get these answers just by this breath and just by this speech and just by this belief system upon thyself. Just like that. Yeah. So with that, when you begin simple things, instructions, intentions like that, like I mentioned, with force fields of love, light, yoga, Tai Chi, then you've created a day full of non-chaos, a day where even if chaos is around the corner, trying to peek through and draw you in, you're like, I see you, chaos. I love you, but you are not going to be part of my life today because I set my intents and I will flow like a beautiful leaf in an infinite river. I will allow the higher self river to guide me where I'm meant to go. Okay, next question. How can we protect ourselves from narcissistic, sociopathic, and toxic people while still being above 51 percentile? How can we do that? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, well, we talked about them, right? We talked about creating boundaries. No. I see your true intentions. No, thank you. You can go ahead and keep moving. I love you. Peace. It's the only way to do it. If someone wants to, is in service of self, and they want to harm you in any way, energetically, spiritually, physically, you The angels will teach you, because in order to be in this high frequency up here, operating in a beautiful surrender with your higher self, coming in and out of the theta brainwave of hypnosis, or overall the theta brainwave of relaxation, when you're showering, when you're painting, when you're relaxed, you're in the theta brainwave. So if you want to be up here, then some of these lower frequencies that are trying to hold you back from this year of 2020, working within your heart discernment, they won't be able to match it. Just won't be able to match it. So understanding your power there and how you can say no. Yes, if someone needs, as a healer in service to other healers, yes, that's what we're here for, to help them heal and to help them regain all that we talked about within this heart discernment video, and all that we've talked about through all past videos. That I think we're reaching up to 300 videos now at this point through our YouTube channel, which we're almost at going into 3 years now. I believe May or June I make 3 years on YouTube. So all these different things now we're bringing, so we're working with that, but so that's a different formation, working with someone who needs that aid, that assistance to help them. That needs basically that antenna, that bridge that is, for example, or some of these beautiful practitioners that you'll find through Aura or A.U.R.A, or really anyone, who works with QHHT, healers that will work within their hearts, that will be that bridge for you in that moment in time that you need. You're sinking in that sinkhole, right? Because too long you've not listened to your heart discernment. Too long you've allowed others to tell you what to do, to tell you what to do with your life. You've allowed for control in these ways. So then you've sunk within the sinkhole, little by little by little, until you're up to here, right? You're up to here, and you need assistance from someone who has been through that already and is working in a beautiful heart discernment. So you will need someone to pull you right up out and find your way to heart discernment once more. Activate your heart, get you there. So it's like basically a person operating with a high frequency of heart discernment is that bridge for you to connect you in different forms. Okay. Now you can do this through self as well, and self-healing. Now, what we've seen through Aura is that sometimes you do need that person working, in heart, to basically amplify it. When you have someone working in a heart discernment in front of you, it amplifies it, where you perhaps felt like you were stuck in that sinkhole and you've been working so hard. Like so many of you I hear, I've been working so hard, I've been doing this, I've been meditating, I've been, and I can't get out of this. How can I get out of this? Then you would need a bridge in that sense to get you there. And then once you're there, then you have to work within self and building your self-confidence, your belief, and connecting yourself back to your heart discernment and bridging that and understanding your infinite beauty and power. So yeah, still creating boundaries, being in service to healers, as healers to heal the healers, but yet still recognizing with that heart discernment, recognizing narcissists, people who sociopaths, who, for example, like we talked about in that Aura regression about relief of the coronavirus, not making contracts that are not needed. Like we talked about how handshakes are a way that you can create unconscious, negative, polarized contracts that you don't even realize that you're creating, with either that being that's handshaking with you or that collective of dark service to self that is connected through them. Okay, so looking at ways to being very intently heart discerning, empowered with your sovereignty, that I've learned my lessons perhaps all these years, and in this time and space, no, I am going to create, manifest for myself, for my family, for the collective, and all that I am creating. Not only am I going to do it for an abundance for my family, but I'm going to bring it forth in creation for others, especially if you're being a healer. Why am I doing this? What is the root? We'll teach that. What is the root to why you want to be in a heart discernment frequency? Okay. So how do you do that? You just say no. You just say no. You speak up. Instead of say being in, say you are in a spiritual gathering and you have something feels off about in the spiritual gathering, whether it's a conference, whether it's a retreat, and one of the leaders just feels off. Like they're charming you with their words. Talked about that with Laura, right? They're like a bit of the vampire energies there. They're charming you with your words, and you don't realize that they could be deceiving because they're telling you all these things perhaps that you want to hear, that your soul has been looking to hear. But everything that you listen to and you align and connect to you is, this is what I do. So whatever it is, so this person is speaking, I follow those chords. I follow them from my heart. This person that is speaking, say in this spiritual gathering, is this person speaking from a heart discernment? Are they, even though their words could be very charming and very charismatic, because remember that's what happened in Atlantis when everything went wrong and what needed, that is a AI organic timeline that wasn't supposed to come forth, that people were led from the mind, not from their heart discernment, and allowed for the very charming, charismatic leaders that started coming up that were led by reptilians, but even higher negative polarized beings that were connected to archons, bring that into fruition and, tainted and damaged, spread like a virus. Okay. Michael said, just say no with a beautiful smile. That's right. I love you. I honor you. I thank you, but no, thank you. And yeah, so understanding that. So say that person is in front of you and yeah, they're telling you these things and something feels off about it. Don't be completely open to being charmed to what they're speaking of. Be discerning, heart discerning, filtering, and all that you are allowing within your consciousness and belief system. Because when you allow for that to come forth, it comes into your DNA and it basically goes strongly and it becomes part of your belief system. Okay. We were talking in a retreat recently about the matrix, the organic matrix and the non-organic matrix. If you ever want to hear that, you can meet us there. But we were talking about it. Basically, I had a client that came, that I had an Aura hypnosis. They said that just by listening to someone presenting the matrix system in a video, or I can't remember how, but it was through communications. I believe it might have been a video. And when they listened to that, this matrix information was negative polarized. It wasn't something that was positive. It was a form of causing fear and anger, like feeling like, making you feel like, what? We've been robbed. We've been, controlled. Yes, we've been controlled, but like a formation, like you feeling like a victimhood mentality, right? So then that came into their consciousness, and we actually had to go in their higher self through self-healing, had to go in and heal that belief system of this false matrix, and they had to unintegrate it from the DNA structure. So being careful, yeah, because when you believe these things, they go into the DNA and they become denser and denser. And as they become denser and denser, then it is hard to bridge to the heart once more. Okay, so all these obstacles. We're coming up on our hour, so let's see what questions we have here. Next one, how will humanity awaken now that the Kabbalah is gone? Years and years of embedded imprinting is now at the surface of most people where selfishness is the priority. How do we deal with such when they live at home and resistance to change is backed by negativity? So as far as the cabal, I wouldn't say that they're completely gone. I would say that we are we are the majority. Let's say that we are the majority, and we are stronger and brighter and empowered than they are. And their black magic is no longer as powerful as it can be. And we're going to see this right now in this time and space of this coronavirus. This is what we're seeing. This is what's to come forth after. So, how do we do this? How to remove them, right? How do we remove them from this imprinting? It's a big, huge question. Selfishness and priority, right? Because they've taught them. They've programmed that into so deeply. And the biggest way is, I know it's so simple, and it sounds so simple, is hold space in love. Not judging them, not being, not having hope for them. Still holding space in love, having hope, and seeing the beauties that they can be. Seeing the beauties in the greatest darkness and the greatest control, yet still viewing it like an alchemy, and viewing his transformation out from his ashes like a phoenix born, being able to view it as a rebirth, being able to attain rebirth. Holding that space in love, you have found your way here, and you are the catalyst working in heart to be that. And that could be just as simple as sitting at home and holding, spreading love to the earth and embracing it and hugging her every day. Like that picture there of me hugging the lava rocks in Hawaii, Kona, Hawaii. Find ways that you can hug her in these ways and emanate this love. And the more of us that do this in the 13th hour, which is the 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. time, or the 555 where we're sending 555 where we're sending love to the children of our own past, of our own self, or the children of the now, sending love and embracing them, the more that this world keeps shifting and transforming from that darkness into light. That is number one. And last question here we'll take is, oftentimes as healers, we speak with people who are curious about what we do, and as soon as we share that, as soon as we share that, because our frequency, the entities within them feel threatened, and they back off from healing, thinking that they are following their heart. Yeah, that's what we talked about right at the beginning. They think that they're following their heart because they're like us. For example, I have a pyramid mirror. We talked about that in the past. So a lot of you might have this type of pyramid mirror, especially if you're a catalyst, you will definitely have it. Catalyzing earth and people and life forms into their hearts. Then they will see, right? They will see a reflection, or they will see the entities that are within them. They are following their heart. They're thinking that they're following their heart, when in actuality, they are following the entity's heart. Or not so much their heart paths, right? Their guidance, their infringement. While yes, we're supposed to allow free will, we would like to help those souls see beyond infringements. How do we do that? That's a big question. And such an important question. How do we do that? Whew. Well, this video covered it all. Don't you all think so? Covered it all in regards to that. Well, not all, because there's always infinity to everything, but it covered the majority of it. So what you can do is allowing their free will. You can hold space. So what happens is, okay, for example, you meet someone, right? Like this question says, you meet someone, you try to give them those messages, and all of a sudden they're repelled by you. Like, oh my gosh, they're feeling their transmutation occurring. They're feeling their alchemy transforming them. And that feeling can feel not uncomfortable, because it is if they hold a high density, it's not going to feel comforting. And it's going to repel them. And those very energies and entities, like this question talked about, are going to astray them from listening to you or believing in you, right? So with that, when you've talked to that person, you're at home and you're going to feel that discomfort that they're feeling towards you, that negativity that they might accidentally, not intuitively, but it's happening because we're all connected with beautiful organic cords, and we're all connected energetically in different forms, because remember, everything is energy. So with that, how will you connect to them? And you're going to feel these densities at home. You will feel them, and it will not feel comfortable. When you try to assist them and aid them into seeing from their heart, you will feel it. So will you become angered? Will you become frustrated? Like, oh my God, I tried to help them and, they didn't listen to me. Now I'm feeling their density. Oh, I don't want to feel it. Are you going to heart discern? Is this density mine? That now perhaps you're feeling some of their anger, their frustration towards you. Are you going to let that become part of you? Or are you going to realize with your own heart discernment, again, making that decision from a high frequency of love, not from worry and fear, like, oh, I'm feeling their repulsiveness towards me. Oh God, it feels uncomfortable. Yes, there's going to be ways that you might have to cut cords or transmute those cords to them, all those teachings that we talk about. But what are you going to do? Are you going to stay in that lower frequency that now they're emitting to you? Or are you going to raise your frequency and you're going to be like, oh, I recognize that this is not my feelings, as strong empaths as we are and sensitive as we are. Am I going to recognize this? Okay, now I've recognized, oh, these are not my feelings. This is the persons that I actually try to help. What am I going to do with that? Am I going to hold it against them that they're not getting me? No. The most beautiful formation and high frequency that would be is that you would and then step back and you would just be like, that's okay. I'm just going to send them love. I am going to send them love because for that reason, that organic reason that I was placed in their path, for whatever that reason was, I was placed in their path, right? And even if they're not quite ready in this time and space to completely get what I was speaking of, I know that they will get it, and I will send them love for that time and space when they are ready to accept what it was that I spoke of. And I will believe in them. And when I will send them my love through my heart, through my wisdom, through my third eye, that they can do this. And just like that, you will be part, your beautiful soul and your beautiful heart, discernment and heart, will be part of when it's time to catalyze them into awakening. You'll be part of holding that frequency for them. Because you were that connected bridge. You were that creation of it. You were that intent of it. And that's a beautiful formation of being above 51 percentile. Just sending love, no matter the density. Thank you for these beautiful questions. I love you all. Thank you. It is a joy. It is a joy to be here with you every Friday. I will see you next Friday. Keep an eye out if you want to be knowing what events are going to happen. We usually post it a day or two before, and you will see it there. Aurora, Rising Phoenix Aurora, going live, this amount of time, and we'll share the title. You can also go under my Rising Phoenix Angels spiritual group, Facebook, and my Rising Phoenix Aurora page. Okay, you can find me, again, more information, risingphoenixaurora.com there. I love you all. Please share. Thank you. Thank you for being the beauties that you are and for being here in this time and space with me. I love you with all that I am. I honor you, respect you, and I thank you. See you all in the future.